Yep. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess. I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about Cars 3. Cars 3 is a 2017 theatrical release about Lightning McQueen coming to terms with the fact that he might need to be done racing. It's directed by Brian Fee. Supervising animation done by Bob Podesta. Editing done by Jason Hudak. Music by Randy Newman. And it's written by Kiel Murray, Bob Peterson, and Mike Rich. The film stars Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, Cristela Alonzo as Cruz Ramirez, Nathan Fillion as Sterling, Chris Cooper as Smokey, Larry the Cable Guy as Mater, and Armie Hammer as Jackson Storm. John Lasseter announced that this film would have a, nod or tribute to Hayao Miyazaki's film The Castle of Cagliostro. I don't know what it is. Lasseter also said this one would have an emotional story, much like the first one. And they focused a lot on, athletes and NASCAR racers. They really wanted to focus on Lightning McQueen's relationships and him as an athlete. Rick's integration subsystem was their new rendering mode that they invented or created. Had a $175 million budget and made $383.9 million in the box office. 68% Rotten Tomatoes consensus. Cars 3 has an unexpectedly poignant story to go with its dazzling animation, suggesting Pixar's most middle-of-the-road franchise may have a surprising amount of tread left. It does have a tie-in video game released in June of 2017, and Cars 4 has never been taken off the table, apparently. As of 2023, there are multiple things in the works. This is gorgeous. So much of the scenery is super realistic. The animation here is some of their best. I mean, I know the crash scene for Lightning McQueen is super famous because it's a really big deal that he crashes so bad. It's a beautiful sequence. I mean, the film is stunning. So this feels kind of long, which is crazy because it isn't that long, and it didn't feel long necessarily in a bad way, but there was a rut in the middle where they're going to see Smokey in Thomasville, where it's okay, fine, I guess. It's starting to feel a little lengthy, but it's fine. I wasn't bored and kind of annoyed, sorry. And then the Rusty's driving montage toward the beginning was really fun. I thought that was great. The score was the best of the bunch, I feel like. There were multiple moments in the score that I was like, oh my god, the music right now? Randy outdid himself. This is obviously very different than the second one. The second one feels like a very random, fluke, side spin-off movie now compared to 1 and 3. I do think they go a little over the top with, calling Lightning old, which, granted, this is hard for me because it feels like just yesterday I watched Cars for this project, but, Cars came out in the early 2000s and then this didn't come out until 2017, so it has been a significant amount of time, and he would have been okay, maybe it's wise for him to retire or whatever it might be, but it felt very, they just were pushing this whole old aspect, which is fine. I do like the story of him coming to terms with the fact that his time might be done and it might be time for him to retire and pass the torch and still find joy in it by coaching or whatever it might be. People said that I was gathering that this movie was incredibly emotional, but I did not feel that, maybe because I am not as attached to Cars. It wasn't one of my movies growing up. It was driving me crazy throughout the movie when they were treating him so old, when Cruz had pulled a 193 on the simulator, and Lightning had continuously pulled a 196 outside of the simulator. I was getting really mad that no one was giving Lightning the benefit of the doubt. I had wondered, the whole movie, I had wondered if Lightning was going to race Jackson, win, and then retire, or if he was going to sub in Cruz and retire before he raced. I did not see him starting the race, stopping, and getting Cruz to go finish the race for him. And this is where I get a little bit salty, because I feel like it was just really convenient that they could do that. That they could do as long as she's wearing the right number, it doesn't matter who's racing, it's just the number they care about. It feels very out of left field, very random, feels very cheaty. I wish they could have established that some way earlier in the movie by maybe there's an old racer who's you know what, I can't do this anymore. Let's have Jackson Storm take over for me officially. And he just needs to be wearing my number. Like, establish it early in the story, because it felt very out of left field and very, like, cheating. Like, it felt like he was cheating by putting Cruz in, even though, like, I guess it technically wasn't. And then, what I thought was so interesting is as soon as Cruz wins, we don't see Jackson Storm again. They don't give him any kind of, like, this isn't the last time, or, like, even if he was, like, humbled and he's like, okay, great, now I got some competition, see you at the next race, Cruz. Like, we don't get anything. He just falls off the face of the earth. It's just like, Cruz wins, ta-da, this is what we're gonna do, now it's training, now it's this, now it's that. Like, they don't do anything to, like, show Jackson Storm, which, like, they don't need to, I guess, but it felt very like this whole movie, Lightning's working up to beating Jackson Storm, and Jackson Storm's kind of a turd, and then she beats Jackson Storm, and then we never see him again. That felt very weird, felt very like a missing part of the resolution for me, but overall it's sweet. I would probably agree, though, that it's not as good as the first one. My favorite part, maybe the training with Smokey, maybe the beach scene where he keeps telling, like, subtly coaching Cruz, just being like, okay, do this, so you can keep track of my speed. So, I can't really pick a favorite part, I'd say. Least favorite part, probably either Jackson Storm and how bratty he is about it, or the fact that, like, her replacing Lightning felt like cheating, and then also means that Lightning won the race too. Like, that all just feels really convenient and, like, cheating, and I didn't like that. Recommend. Sure. Watch again. I'm not so sure. I've never been big on Cars. It's really not my speed. I never go out of my way to watch the first one. And now I've seen 2 and 3 once, and I probably won't watch them again unless my children like the movies that I eventually have. Otherwise, that's it. If you're a Cars fan, I think you'll really love this. It is beautiful. If you grew up with Cars, you would really love this. I could definitely see how this could be really emotional because, you know, Lightning's hanging up, you know, his racing days and all that kind of stuff. So that's everything I have. I'm going to give this 7... whatever. What was the trophy she won from Thunder Hollow? Demolition Derby trophy? Yeah. 7 Thunder Hollow Demolition Derby trophies out of 10. Our total movie count is. Paradise and Cry Counters are the same. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on all socials to find out movie I'm watching when. I put up videos every Monday and Friday, and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. I got a tier starting at just $1. You get every video a week early. Tiers above that, you get daily trivia, monthly postcards, bonus content, names in the description of every video, free merch, etc. Go check it out. Buy merch. Merch is great. Merch is great. This is the really old one that's all crusty. Until next time, comment, subscribe, but I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so do you, and don't be Jackson Storm about it.